come to you over these last couple of weeks, or any questions you have and things as we come into this, approach Christmas here?
I enjoyed like the explanations that have been given about the first commandment and how we've said that, or we've learned that, like you said, atheists don't. It's not that they don't have a God; it's that they worship something different. But that for us, you shouldn't put any other God above me. Well, you don't think you are, but you might be, with whether it's money or an object
Sure.
or whatever. You don't think about. It's really put into perspective for me to not put too much into anything else. To really, if you feel like it's becoming super important, is it really that important that you should be putting so much effort into it? And am I taking away from my time with Christ and God to put into this? And if I am, then I need to rebalance and recheck.
Or are you able to see Christ in it? That's
Absolutely.
the big deal.
Yes, absolutely.
Not recognizing whom you are receiving it from physically, but realizing that, and I shared this with you many times, and I just had this conversation yesterday with a person that was present at my treatments, where that little Chinese woman, when I would give her a hug, I would whisper in her ear, "Jesus used you." Recognizing the source. Who's giving the gift, not who he's giving it through. It's the most important thing for me.
Absolutely. Anyone else?
I find reading Brother Martin, and I have a problem when he says, "This is simplified." He ain't as simple as me. He's not as simple as me, but read it. What did he say there?
He's a step down from Paul, but
He's not John.
no.
Hey, Deacon, why, because when we went through this last year, I found it very profound. We never used the word atheist, and I'm shocked to hear you. Like, we've been using atheist a lot, and you've
you know my perspective on that, because if you look in the Epistle of John, 2 John, John calls him the Antichrist.
Yeah.
That is my language.
Sure.
But I'm not here for that, to introduce you to how I speak.
But it's profound, though, because, like you said, we have a God. So we're not focused on Christ, we're against Christ.
Right.
We're anti-Christ.
And that's why I refer to it, because of the Bible, as the Antichrist. You very seldom hear me use the word atheist.
Yeah. I use it as
Not my language.
Yeah, I use it as this is the language the world uses, right? So we're going to connect with it. Back in the early aughts, back in the early 2000s, there was a real famous group of guys called the Four Horsemen. They called them the New Atheists, which was kind of ironic because they were repeating arguments from the 1800s, literally without changing anything. There was nothing new about it. Like Christians hadn't thought about those ideas and had proper responses to them for a century. But what was interesting was that if you read all four of them, one of them's dead now, if you read all four of them, they clearly have a God. Their God is reason. Their God is human reason. And they neglect to notice that every brutal tyrant was a genius in history. Like, we can trust our intelligence to solve our things. Intelligence doesn't help you be good. Intelligence can help you be vicious in a really new and unique way. But they think we can think our way out of things. Well, why? Because they're good with their thoughts. These are all guys who are professors at school, at colleges, right? If you're good with a hammer, everything starts to look like a nail. But they clearly had something that they staked all their hopes for the future on, and it was reason. And anytime I hear debates with these guys, anytime someone would point out to them that reason has created, reason equally created nuclear energy and the atom bomb, or something like that. Oh yeah, well we're not talking about that. Well, what are you talking about then? Because that's what reason did. Joseph Mengele was a genius. I don't want any more Joseph Mengeles in the world, especially in positions of power running things, right? Don't need any more lampshades made out of human skin.
On that perspective there, again, you have to excuse me, because I'm a strange and peculiar thinker. So when I hear things like, Mengele being a genius, or emphasis of the Four Horsemen being on intellectualism, can I bring something to your attention? Something to ponder. There were 2 trees in the center of the garden. One was, you were told not to eat of. Which one was it? So when we put this undue emphasis upon intellectualism, what tree are they eating from? A simple question. You answer it yourself. What tree do you think they're eating from?
Somebody that belonged to our church and has passed away told me one time about his grandson. I think in the 9th grade or something, he was tested, and they said he would be like a senior in college. That's how smart he was. And very intelligent person. And then they asked the psychologist about it, and they said, you know what usually happens to people that are this smart? They become greeters at Walmart.
Uh-huh.
Because they are so